Hi everyone, Rich Crescenti here with another in our series of videos making music with Melodyne, and today we are discussing how to accentuate little special moments. Now, whether you're working in the production phase or in the mixing phase, finding ways to make each of those little special moments pop out is a great way to make your song be memorable, be unique, have some character. And there are a lot of ways that we do this with automation, with effects. However, there are some very useful and fun tools that you can do in Melodyne that are faster and offer a different sound profile than the ones that we are normally used to. Almost everything we're doing today can be done inside Melodyne Assistant or higher. However, at the end, I'm going to use the sound editor, which requires Melodyne Studio. All right, so let's jump in and take a look. This is a song called The Fight by a band called Colorform out of New York City. Some nice acoustic folk rock. Let's give it a listen. Okay, great. Now, one of the things I hear right away is this long word right here. She really holds this word out, this word hawk. So I want to accentuate that. I want to put a little bit of a point on it. And I like the swimmy sort of blurred feeling of a chorus. I could just set up a chorus, but sometimes for just one word, there's a faster and easier way to do it that I really like inside Melodyne. So let's check this out. The first thing I'm going to do is click on this and to select this blob. And I'm also going to select this blob right here. And I'm going to select actually the end of 2 and hit Command C. This is copy. Just click anywhere else on the background and hit Command V. And you'll notice it doesn't look any different, right? But that is because it pasted it right on top of the other ones. If we look at this here, I can actually pull this up and you'll see there's the original note underneath. So what I want to do is to make a chorusing effect, I just want this to be a little different in pitch and a little different in time. So I'm going to take this first one. You'll notice this note is a little bit flat right here. So what I'm going to do is take this and just scoot this up a little bit and then come over here to my timing tool and just scoot this back a little bit right here. And let's give this a listen and see how it sounds. Okay, that's pretty cool, but it's way too loud right there. So to find the right level, what I'm going to do is set myself up a loop over this time, make sure I come over here to my amplitude tool and let it play while I dial in the right level. Let's check it out. That's nice. I like that, right? It just gives it a little bit of a swimmy effect that is nice. It makes it jump out. It draws attention to that one word right there. Now, if you ever needed to get back to the other blobs that are behind there, and they can sometimes be hard to click on, there's an easy way to do that, right? You can always right click and come up to Select Special, and you'll see Rotate and Select Hidden Notes, which will actually switch to the other ones. And as many things inside Melodyne, you can always go up here to the left to your settings, come to Preferences, come over here to Shortcuts, and let's see, that's called Rotate, so we'll type it in. And here we see Rotate and Select Hidden Notes. The quick key for that is H. I could change it if I wanted to, but I'm going to leave that right here and hit Close. So now when I hit the H button, I can adjust this one or this one. And either way, you kind of get the ability to switch back and forth between them. Very, very, very cool. Now this is also repeatable. I could copy and paste and create some very rich multiple chorusing effects right there, but I like the way that this is right here. I think it makes that word jump out in a way that is really, really nice. All right, so let's get rid of that loop right there. Let's come to this next part of the song and give this a listen. Here's the next line in this track. Okay, great. Now the first half of that line is very, very airy, very delicate, and it says we're all equals, right? And since it's got the word we in there, my first thought is always harmony, because that kind of accentuates the idea of we. So I'm going to grab these ones right here, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to Command C to copy those, click somewhere else, and click Command V. And now I can come over here to my pitch tool. This is a great time to really get used to the quick keys, right? On the number, 2 will give me my pitch tool, 4 will give me my amplitude tool, 5 will give me my timing tool. And if you can really get fast at switching between those, you can edit so much more quickly than you could before. So here's my pitch tool. Let's drag this up a little bit and create a harmony. And let's see how this sounds. Okay, I like it, but this note right here isn't really working. This is a G, and it's showing that it's in the key of the song, but it's not sounding right to me. So this is a perfect time where I might look to one of the other instruments that I've put in here. I've put my acoustic guitar because that's a really rough, like, sort of approximation of what is being played in the song. It's playing chords, it's all the way through, so it's a good kind of rough edit of what's in the song. So if I click on this for my gray blobs right there, we can scroll down a little bit and see that the chord in the acoustic guitar is the F sharp, not the G. Okay, so instead I can take this note right here that was a G and bring this down to my F sharp. Let's select these notes right here, and I'm going to hit 4 to come to my amplitude tool, and we will listen to this again, brought down in level just a little bit. Nice, I like that a lot too. I think you can do some really cool stuff with that. Now sometimes you may want to make this one jump out a little bit more. So what you could do is come over here to your modulation control, for example, and flip that all the way upside down, right? And that kind of inverts it. It'll give it a little bit of a different performance in there. Let's hear that. I think that actually blends a little bit nicer, but what I also might do is come over here to my pitch tool and just kind of smooth out those changes from between all the words right there. Great. Okay, so now what we've done with both of these phrases is parallel processing within this one track. However, there are some times when I like to use parallel processing with an additional track. So what I've done right here is I have duplicated this track. Here's Kate Vox right here. This is our vocal, and I have duplicated it to Kate Vox dupe right there. So I'm going to rename this Kate Vox and just call this effects, because I'm going to do something cool with this one and show you the power of using Melodyne to shape some signals that might only be going to like an effects track, for example. So in this case, I'm going to unmute this and let's listen to this. This is our duplicate. Now, you want to make sure, if you're working in Melodyne Studio, you've got this multi-track view. It's possible sometimes to have the track selected and think you're working on that one, but still be working on the original. So I'm going to make sure to select Kate Vox right here. And I'm going to deselect this acoustic guitar and let's give this a listen.
Circling round the treetops like a red-tailed hawk.
Okay, that's her original vocal. We haven't altered it, it's just a duplicate. But since this is going to a reverb, I want to make this really like light, ethereal, kind of airy reverb on there. So I'm going to now process this duplicated vocal with that goal in mind. Now, since this is going to be going to a reverb, first things first, what I want to do is come over here to my sibilant balance tool and just get rid of all of the sibilant information. None of that really needs to go to a reverb. We're looking for all of these consonant tonal stuff right here. That's what we're looking for. Okay, we can do that. We can also come over here to my modulation tool, and I might even that out just a little bit, just to make it a little bit more on pitch. Also, this is something where this reverb, the original vocal, I did not pitch correct all the way, but with this one, since it's going to a reverb, I may move it all the way to 100% just to kind of make the background, make sure that that is really in key right there. And from here, we get to something that is only within Melodyne Studio, and this is the sound editor. And I like this a lot. This is a very, very powerful and flexible way to be able to shape a sound and alter it. Everything from light improvements all the way up to drastic sound design. So since I know I'm going for something really light and ethereal, there's a couple of things that we can look at. First up right here is this dynamics slider. Now this dynamic slider works very differently than the amplitude tool. With the dynamic slider, if we go to the right, this will actually it will increase the dynamic range within each blob. So each blob will actually drop off in level faster. If we move it to the left, the sustain of each blob will be a little bit longer. Now, a little bit goes a long way in this one, so I'm going to bring this over just a little bit to the left just to give me a little bit more sustain on this for this ethereal hall shimmer reverb. If you use the Option key, by the way, you can get fine control over any of these sliders right there. Now I can come over here and look at our harmonics. Now, since this is a harmonic, I don't want to use any of this right here. This is all the information below the fundamental note, but I also might take that fundamental note and lower it a little bit right there too. Get a little bit less chest and a little bit less body inside that signal that's only going to go to the reverb. Now, I want this to be super bright and airy, so if we come down here, there's a brilliance slider, and this is one, maybe I'll increase this brilliance just a little bit. And then this slider right over here, the contour, does something that's really interesting. Where it is in the middle is the original contour for the vocal. If I move it all the way to the right, it accentuates what is unique about this vocal. If I move this all the way over here towards the left here, to the contour is minus 100%, that kind of eliminates what is unique about it and smooths everything out. This is like a slider between making something pop out and making something blur a little bit right there. Now I want this in the background, but I want it to be kind of characterful. So I'm going to move this all the way to the right here. And let's just see how this sounds. Okay, great. Now this might not be what I want my vocal to sound like, but since this is going to be for just a reverb, this may sound pretty cool. So what I can actually do is take this track and move this to a dummy output. I don't want the track to actually go to my mix bus. All I want to do is use the plate reverb and the hall reverb on this right here. So let's open this up a little bit and hear how this sounds on its own. Very nice, like I said, very ethereal, very floaty, a nice shimmer reverb right there. If we switch over to this view right here and look at my lead vocal, we can hear the difference, right? I'm going to bypass these plugins right here and open these same two plugins up at the same level on the lead vocal. Let's hear what it sounds like with the original lead vocal going to these effects. It's nice, but it still sounds like a regular reverb that we are used to. One of the nice things about processing a vocal and then sending it only to the reverb is you decorrelate it in certain ways from the original. Here is just the processed version going to just those reverbs. I like that. That creates a nice bed, a nice floaty atmospheric sound without losing the original vocal that was in there. If I wanted to, I could even come up and turn my compression entirely off for this so that there's a wider dynamic range in the signal that's going to this reverb. So when she sings a bigger note, it gets a little bit bigger. Let's hear this in context with the mix. Here we go. Nice, I like what that adds. Here's our original again without that reverb on it. It's nice, but I really do like that floaty vocal in the background right there, right? It's very light and airy and creates a nice little beautiful shimmery bed behind everything else. Let's hear it one more time. I like that. It's created a very nice atmosphere. If you've enjoyed this video today, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Enjoy.